Alright, for all of y'all that are new to our channel, I wanted to go and elaborate more on why we do these spooling videos, guys. It's a lot more technical than you think. It's not just us putting on line and showing you how much line capacity. We are searching for imperfections with every single reel we put on our spooling machine with the line they put on there. Obviously, the only one that I cannot really look for imperfections is monofilament.
Gotta bite. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I got a line. I'ma call the whole team.
We're doing 100 pound of the camo green. There we go. And this is braid that a customer did bring into us. Oh, it's good, nice and tight, or semi-tight, should I say. The reason for it is because it gets too hot for me to even have my hands on, and for the most part, most monos do not have any imperfections as they do with braided lines. We're talking both solid and hollow core lines. For me, I am able to keep my fingers on the braided line as I'm spooling it up, and if I find an imperfection, it's like a speed bump going through my hands. I feel it pretty good. And if you really want to see some great catches, go back through our spooling library and check out the videos, because there's a lot of them that I put under the microscope and show you what I find. This is something we've implemented within probably the last year or so of spooling reels, and it gives y'all first-hand knowledge exactly what I'm finding and how the braid is being made like that. It is a real tough thing to find and understand, but since we've gotten some invites into the how they make the braid, for example with Tightline hollow core braid, we were invited into their manufacturing warehouse, and they explained everything that we had been best guessing, off of our knowledge of how braid is manufactured, kind of deal. And he explained it all to us, and it was right on par with what we were thinking of what was going on with the braided lines as they are being set up. So for us, it's a huge thing for us to be able to sit here, spool a customer's reel, and find out exactly what's going on, and be able to let them know, hey, this is what we have found, this is what you need to look out for, or hey, let us know how this works out. Because we're not saying we know everything, but we are one of the only tackle shops in the world that we know that does what we do with the braided lines, with stopping and checking and hey, here's a mess up, or hey, something's wrong here, or we are really inclined to finding out everything we can. And one of the biggest things is, guys, you got to realize I'm responsible to my customer, not to the braided companies that we buy the fishing line from. So whenever we do find a new braid or somebody talks about it, we want to know everything we can about that braid, how it works, and fish it for our customers at the end of the day. That's 100 yards of 100 pound on here. We're going to keep it going. Some of the things that we look for are the thicknesses of the line, how rough the line is, how does it lay on a spool while spooling, is it going to give us great line capacity, is it going to eat up our line capacity, for hollow core, does it splice very well, does it not splice very well. And by splicing, we have seen where the weave of the braid, when it is being spun up, is so tight we can't even insert a needle. So technically, they say it's a hollow core, but it won't even splice. So in reality, it's a solid braid. That's 200 yards right there. And that right there is a major drawback, especially if you're buying into hollow core, to be able to use its ability to splice in and or fixture lines. If it does not allow you to do that, then it defeats the purpose of buying that type of hollow core or that company's braid if they're not willing to put forth the quality control. That's very important, guys, because we spend a lot of money, as y'all do, to get your gear set up and ready for the next trip. which may be a fishing tournament. And that's where the money is truly on the line, guys. I mean, you got to really look at it. How much are you willing to bet that that line's going to hold up when you need it to hold up, when it really matters? You know, for me, at any given time when I'm spooling a reel for myself, I'm looking at a chance that I could have a $10,000 fish on the end of that line.
Alright guys, I passed up the second bevel right here, and I'm at 378 yards, 100-pound reaction tackle on this reel.
And right here you can also notice too that this camo color is not staining my hands as the other color that we had already on there. That greenish color we had was from the actual reaction tackle in the aqua camo color. This is very important, guys, because when you are fishing with braided lines too, and we've seen it where bigger companies have actually stained people's fishing tackle, and it can be a bad thing. For a long time they didn't make red color braid because when they did, it actually stained the boats that they actually put it on, and several of them boats were stupid expensive boats, like in the $1 million boats, and the wood grain and all of that had gotten stained by the type of coloring they were using on their braid. So this is something that I'm not saying this company is doing. It's just something to look out for with any company that has colored braided lines. So just food for thought right there.
I do have to admit that this color of braid is not as hot as that other color that I was dealing with. The aqua camo. I mean, it's still abrasive, but it's not. And look, I hardly got any color. I mean, it is coming off, but nothing like the aqua camo color that I did in the other video.
And what I meant by hot too a second ago is that while I'm keeping my fingers on the braid, if it's very abrasive, it gets super hot super fast, and that's when I am not allowed to keep my fingers on there. If it's very abrasive, that's a drawback, guys. It will try to eat whatever it's leaned up against. I mean, just think about it. It's what it wants to do, but you got to remember it's a soft line. Now against our fingers, it'll cut right through it, but if against shell, it's not.
Alright, I'm at 708 yards at the second bevel, and what I'm going to go and do is cut it there and go and fill it up with mono, so that way he gets a longer top shot of mono, so he knows where to stop when it's kayaking.
Also, what we're looking at is the life of the line when you are fishing it. Are you just dropping it off a boat? Are you casting it out? Are you slide lining it? I mean, there's so many ways to fish braided lines.
Alright, so they got the 120 pound. We got that. Let's see what 120. You know what? I'm going to save those for the bigger reels just because they got more line capacity. I'm going to go back to 100 on this one. Because I'm trying to give him the best line capacity we can. He is prepping for a Sharkathon. So.
Hey, Christi, you got two, right? The silver ones that I gave you yesterday?
Silver one what? I can't see what.
Three-way.
Yeah, yes.
Again, I'm going to be spitting a bunch of things that we think about when we are planning to buy into braid, use braid, or sell the braid. Our shop does not have very deep pockets, guys. It really doesn't. And for us just to bring in some cheap braid just because it's cheaper for our customers to purchase is not the way we like to think of the way we run our shop. Because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you more. Think of all the losses of tackle, gear, leaders, weights, bait, time. All of this is something that I would like all of our customers and our subscribers to understand. This is stuff that we take seriously because, like I said, we're just like y'all. We don't have these huge money pockets that we could just, oh, you know what, let's try this, and you know what, let's try this. We don't have it, guys. We really don't. So what we're doing is when we deal with our customers and or with the braids that come in, we are really attentive to everything that's happening, so that way we can help our customers ensure that whatever money they do spend, it is the best money spent with us with any company, just because in the long term, guys, we don't know when they'll be able to come up with that kind of cash again, or lose that kind of gear and still be able to go out there and fish. It's expensive.
Alright guys, so I'm at 880 at this point. But the beautiful thing about these Squalls is they've got a boat out housing the way Avets do, so I can overfill this because he wants the maximum amount of line that he can get on the reel. So we're going to keep going.
While watching our videos, you have learned so much of line capacity, braided lines, solid lines, you know, monofilament mixes. I mean, there's so much knowledge for us to share, and we will continue to do our best to give that knowledge to you.
And I ran out of mono there, and he's at exactly 1,000 yards of line on there, which is good. So, and he's still got plenty of gap between his full housing, and he's got 1,000 yards of line on the reel. Beautiful.